Shalom, fellow Israelites. I'm Tamar, and I want to talk today about something that's very important. I want to address what I believe to be one of the most toxic theological teachings ever known to humankind. And that teaching that is very common in many religious circles and has even been adopted into secular circles is the teaching that turn the other cheek means a victim should offer themselves to be twice victimized to a sinner. So often, and mostly within the Christian church, it's taught that you should turn the other cheek when somebody is attacking you. Okay, I was fully indoctrinated in the Christian church to believe that when someone was coming at me or doing me wrong, I should just stand there and basically take it. I used to let people badmouth me, bully me, do me wrong, cheat on me, many different things. And I thought it was my duty to sit there and bear it up so they could see the love of the Creator. And then I learned Torah. I was completely wrong. That kind of thinking is a disguised form of codependency, a disguised form of having no boundaries. So I want to dive into the book of Leviticus, what it teaches about pacifism, the fact that it does not teach pacifism, and what the Messiah really meant when he said, turn the other cheek. And I think this is really important to understand because many people are being deceived to believe they should lay down their power to evil. Okay, so in Leviticus, it says that if somebody injures their neighbor, what they did should be done to them. That's in Leviticus 24:20. I'll double check it because I'm not always good at memorizing exact. It starts at 19. It's 19 and 20. So if someone injures his neighbor, what he did is to be done to him. Break for break, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. Whatever injury he has caused the other person is to be rendered to him in return. This is the book of the Torah that Moses bound into a book. That is the moral standard of the Most High. So from the beginning, it was established that the moral system of the Torah was not going to be one of pacifism. A victim in no way is required to be victimized twice over. The opposite is true. The sinner has to offer themselves, him or herself, up to be repaid what they did. And this is a very logical, fair, and honestly brilliant Torah. Because when you create a system in which sinning is disfavorable, people will stop sinning. But when you create a toxic system where people are being taught that victims should offer themselves twice over to be victimized, then you create victims twice over, and that's perverted ethics. It's not, I would say ethics, it's not even righteous in any way. So here comes the Messiah in Matthew 5, okay? At the beginning of the famous Matthew 5 chapter, which is that my doorknob? Sorry. Which is probably the most famous chapter of the Messiah across the board, all religious circles. For all of history, it's been called the Beatitudes. It's quoted, it's on pictures, it's everywhere. Okay, so at the beginning of that chapter, well, I would say maybe middle, verse 17, 18, 19, and 20, the Messiah says, everything that I'm about to tell you, don't interpret it to mean I'm putting away the book of the Torah. He said in verse 18, until heaven and earth pass away, not so much as a jot or tittle shall pass away from the law. So that includes Leviticus 24:20. That's the standard. Then we get further on into the chapter in verse 38. I'm going to read that. You have heard that our fathers were told, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you not to stand up against someone who does you wrong. On the contrary, if someone hits you on the right cheek, let him hit you on the left cheek too. Freeze. Okay, that's the complete Jewish Bible translation. If you get into the Greek, it actually says don't war with evil. It doesn't say not to stand up to someone who does you wrong. Why would the Messiah say that if Leviticus 24:20 just said stand up to someone who does you wrong? Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. So what the Messiah is saying, instead of warring with evil, you need to submit as the sinner to your victim who's giving you eye for eye and tooth for tooth. He's speaking to the sinners here. He's not speaking to victims to turn their cheek to be twice victimized. That's not Torah. In Numbers 5:5-8, it says that the sinner owes the victim. Victims don't owe sinners anything. And they have fully the right to stand up to somebody who's attacking them, bullying them, and doing evil to them. Okay, and what's the big so what about this? Okay, because I'm not trying to come across as bossy, know-it-all. Hey, I've got some information. There's a really big implication for this kind of toxic teaching that victims should be pacifists. Okay, the reason is you have to think who the beneficiary of that message is. What kind of person is going to tell a victim that they need to roll over and be victimized twice? It is manipulative people, narcissistic people, psychopaths. And the biggest beneficiary of a message like that is the enemy. The enemy knows that once you come into covenant with the Most High, you have a lot of power. Your power grows as you continue to become anointed and learn and walk. So how can the enemy defeat your power? He has to try to deceive you to make you think that you need to lay it down. He wants you to lay down your power, but the Messiah said to put the serpent underfoot. How can you put the serpent underfoot if you're laying down your power to be victimized twice over? That is not the way of Torah. That is not the way of the Most High. So I just want to encourage you, sheep, who are being rammed and attacked by spirits and attacked in general, to stand your ground, to defend yourself. You're completely within your rights to put the serpent underfoot. You're completely in your rights to give back to a sinner what they're doing to you. Don't hand over your power. Stand your ground.